Muraviev. Alexey is an associate professor of national security and strategic studies over at Curtin University. Alexey, good to talk to you. 10 months into this conflict, we're still seeing Western powers continue their attempt at boxing in Russia's capabilities. This latest round coming after the escalation of Russia's attacks, obviously, on Ukraine's infrastructure and the fallout from the war. Do you think that it's having the intended effect with regards to this ninth round of sanctions being announced by the EU?
Look, my answer would be yes and no. Yes, in terms of Russia did not meet its strategic objectives, which it set it up prior to the invasion. Certainly, the Russians expected this to be a swift campaign, and by now they probably thought that the war would be over. So in this sense, the West resolve and the continuous waves of sanctions, the economic aid to Ukraine, the military logistical aid to Ukraine, and the direct military support all do affect Russia's performance in this conflict. On the other hand, it didn't also meet the West objectives, which by now also expected that Russia will pull out of the conflict, would be either defeated militarily or would just submit under the international pressure, also because there was an estimate that Russia was not prepared to engage in prolonged high-intensity military conflict. So both sides proved to be wrong. Both expectations proved to be wrong. So I would give a bit of a mixed kind of a yes or no answer to you.
Okay. Okay. Alexey, I also want to ask your thoughts on the possible deployment of the Patriot missile defense system. I mean, the analysts that I've spoken to over the past week have had mixed feelings. I mean, do you think this is going to be a game changer in this 10-month conflict?
Look, let's just separate a couple of issues. There is no doubt that the Patriot system would probably be one of the most advanced Western systems ever supplied to the Ukraine. And in fact, the United States does not share the system easily with anyone. There are a couple of issues that I want to raise. First of all, we're not certain about what variant of the Patriot would be supplied to Ukraine, because the earlier variants of the earlier variants of the Patriot were designed for effectively medium to high altitude air defense of strategic targets. Again, there are some issues concerning their ability to intercept drone attacks, and in this sense, everyone points out to the effective failure of the Patriot back in 2019 when the Yemenis rebels shelled oil refineries in Saudi Arabia, defended by the Patriots, and the Iranian-supplied UAVs managed to break through the defenses. The latest variant of the Patriot is effectively an element of the US ballistic missile defense. I'm not really sure whether the United States will risk supplying it in fear that the Russians may gain access to this capability and technology. The second point that needs to be highlighted is how many missile systems or how many batteries or battalions will be supplied to Ukraine. By virtue of geography, Ukraine is a massive country. I mean, you've been in Kyiv, you would understand much better than anyone else. To defend the capital alone would require about 5 to 10 battalions of Patriot alone. That just to defend one city. I'm not really sure that the United States would be committed to supply a significant number of Patriots, also because they're very expensive. And the third question that needs to be, or the third point that needs to be addressed is we need to remember that Russian military technology, particularly its air capability, has been designed specifically to operate against systems like the Patriot, because obviously the Russians were preparing for a long time to fight the United States or US military technologies. So whilst it would obviously make life for the Russian pilots very uncomfortable, it would probably increase the success of intercepting some of the incoming missiles or even drones from Russia subject, and it's still speculative. I don't think it's going to be a significant game changer.
Okay. Alexey, all very good points that you make. I do thank you for speaking with us. I do enjoy listening to your analysis. Alexey Muraviev, live for us from Curtin University.